Entropy conclusion. So I've pretty much gone over, I think, the day's activities. I'm almost down to a half cup of coffee, and I've got a big day of going out into the world tomorrow, and hopefully not having to get killed by the man who said the threatening words tonight about death the next time he sees me. Because he was pointing between my eyes. And I'm not able to carry a firearm to protect myself, especially here in Seattle. Very liberal, very social, very anti-Second Amendment. Carry like a little knife and just, and then have them go boom. And then boom. And then boom. To make sure you're dead. Maybe even a machine gun just taking, 7 people like before with me. And then, my mom in Little Rock, Arkansas gets the notification because she's on my emergency contacts. Oliver and Nola hear the news, and people just go on about their days. My video series called Have You Ever on this YouTube channel, nobody ever see it. No school will ever get it in their applications. MIT, University of Washington, other schools will never know I even existed on Earth. But I'll never have to ever consider cancer as part of what I want to do with my life and the cure for its destruction and despair. Or engineer something so that Oliver and Nola don't have to worry about the year 2100 and some beaches being gone. They say about half. Or, maybe even having kids in the future if they want to have a family like they have now. Because their compassion takes more precedence, takes more positivity, and helps them to their grave. So that when they grow to be 100 and they're just, naturally just starting to get like Milo, sadly as an example, because he's just getting older naturally. And have the news in front of them and the statistics and the sciences saying, less and less time until more climate change. And so you have this entropy. I have this entropy. We all have this entropy with time. And to conclude the video series I've been making on entropy, it's kind of like climate change, just the natural progression of using oil and carbon, pollution and all kinds of stuff have just made the earth just kind of heat up, like Greta Thunberg says. And I don't, dislike the young girl, but gosh, it's like the thugs and the bullies here. It's like, well, they're smooshing everybody towards, being fortunate, like, I guess a fortnight, and, having a 1,000 posts and being called the Canadian who's a comedian, and somehow finding these posts to comment and, have stuff flash down for me, and there's disarray. Especially considering the drugs, the gangs, the cultures, the people that are always coming into a place like Seattle where there is so much work being done and so much thoughts like right now just going. Whereas a smart city, like they're trying to do in a place like Toronto, coincidentally, where the comedian who kept commenting and finding my posts was located, have facial recognition, have an actual structure where engineers can go, get home, mind wander in public in the world, and not have someone say they're going to get killed or they're going to kill, you. Who's got a NASA hat on. And what's so disturbing with the Entropy and the NASA hat man who said he's going to kill me, the dark skinned, African American black, human. With the NASA hat has to do with how separate the person who's blending in with his NASA hat, or maybe they're from NASA and they're just murderous and dangerous. And Entropy not bothering anybody. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the screen. 6 minutes and now 7 minutes. So you go 7 minutes to the right and you got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You go all the way to the left, you got 0, 0, 0, 7, 1, 9, all the way to the right. And the way these people who have these kinds of habits of wearing NASA hats and flowers on their back and colors to let you know their psychology of what they're doing and how well they're performing their behavior and their gesture and their system and their processes, so that people go faster with the colors and they go slower with the NASA and they don't get in the way, so that someone doesn't get killed or murdered by their drugs, by their gun. And heaven forbid, some dirty, skanky, nasty knife in their gut. Starving and hungry, unable to even go and eat at a restaurant because that person might come back. And survival has to do with getting out of danger. You don't just sit there and eat and then go. You go. You go. And that's how they're making the time. 9, 0, 1, 2 seconds. But on the screen, it might not even say the seconds. It might just say 8 and then just 20 minutes or 20, after seconds, 9. Big jump, So there's these different interpretations, these different understandings of time. You can go all the way left to 0 and be like, man, I got plenty of time. It's only 0. And go right a little bit and go, oh, 0, 9, okay. Well, that's going to be fun in a minute because it'll be 1, 0. And the 0 will be a 1. More playtime. Playing with the time. But when someone tells you they're going to kill you, or someone says, where you from? Shut up. Do what they want, you're too loud. You're too in my part of town. And not even saying a word to them. Talking to this device I'm recording on now, this video camera that's on my phone. But they have decided no, not allowed, no right to do that, no freedom. Every sound out of my mouth is their business, is their problem, and they are solving what needs to get figured out. A lot like, all the other political stuff I've already talked about. But entropy doesn't stop. The time keeps going. We keep getting older. My skin keeps getting more and more saggy. My voice keeps changing because Nola makes me say thunder. I gotta go like that. And teach and teach and teach and almost lose my voice to keep her and her brother safe. With coronavirus happening and her brother just putting his head down, going, and her trying to keep up because she's a good sibling, but not being taught by him. So me having to finally say, like, okay, I figured it out in the books, awareness, attention, and then not being as worried anymore because she understands what's happening now. So now and time are going in the past. But us humans can't keep doing what I'm doing unless you're in the Matrix movie and you're on video going, and you're Keanu Reeves and you're just dodging bullets maybe from the guy, but you can put up, your own just don't hit me enough. Like, oh, it's just the whoa. And the body, my clothes that are just, my brain, my mind are similar to what drug addicts do who smoke methamphetamine, crack, and then the other time for heroin and fentanyl that goes slow and dreamlike because they go unconscious sometimes. But the methamphetamine and the crack cocaine and the cocaine and Adderall, for prescription example, from what I've heard, the mind goes away. And then the drug wears off and they're back to a similar body, brain, possibly mind as what I have now. But the entropy has to do with the slow decay, like from Decasia, the film just getting old and it just starting to just, with what you see from it. Boxer in the film that used to be, boxing something is now like hitting the actual like fuzziness from the effect of the decaying film stock. And especially the train of thought I have now is slowly having this entropy I'm talking about, because I've only got now 50 seconds now before YouTube and Google say, that's it, you can't go past 15 minutes, and I've got to say, well, this is the conclusion, and I'm sorry for the shadows, but I don't like doing shadows. I try not to do shadows because it kind of scares myself, at least once in a while, with my diplopia, because I like fun stuff like shadows, but it makes me dizzy sometimes because if I see too many, I'm like, whoa, it's psychedelic. But that's my video series on entropy. The end.